I'll show you in this video how to come up with a confidence interval for the mean using your stats calculator. So in order to do a confidence interval, that's a type of an estimate. So you need to go to the Estimates submenu, which will just pop up automatically after you hover. And you'll notice there's two for the mean. You have a Z confidence interval for the mean, so that's based off of normal distributions, and T confidence interval for the mean, which is based off of T distributions. I've provided them both, but really the T confidence interval for the mean is the most important because the rules say that in order to use the normal distribution in this case, you need to know the value of your population standard deviation, which isn't really ever going to be known, so the T confidence interval is perfect. We'll use that instead. When you open that up, there's not a lot there, but it doesn't really need a whole lot of information in order to do a confidence interval. All that's needed is a mean, a standard deviation, a sample size, and a level of confidence. Now, if you'll notice, you've got those boxes here. You can type in values. So for instance, let's say we have a data set with 45 items, which has a mean of 28.4 and a standard deviation of 4.3 perhaps. All right, there's another box here for a list, which you can't get to. It's grayed out initially. I'll show you how you can use it if you need to, but if you change your input from stats to data, then it will become available for you to edit. But normally, most problems are going to require your input only from statistics, so we'll use that. Now suppose the level of confidence here is 98%, so just enter that in your box. Oh, and by the way, if you ever need to do a calculation in one of these boxes, that's actually okay. Like for instance, if you needed a square root of something, these little boxes are mini calculators, so you can do that. Alright, so when you press calculate, it will do its thing and come up with the endpoints of your confidence interval, along with some additional bonuses. Like for instance, the critical value based off of your T distribution, that's listed right here. So that's based off of a level of confidence of 98%, and for my sample size is 45, that's using 44 degrees of freedom. Then the margin of error. The margin of error is the distance between your point estimate, which is x bar, and the endpoints of your interval. So that can be helpful sometimes. These pieces of information are reported, but if you'll notice they were given up here. So why would it retell me that? Well, the reason is the input from data. So let's take an example from data this time. So tell you what, let me actually just delete all this so you don't think that it's being used in any way. Alright, so say for instance you have a problem which gives you a set of data to work with. Well, the thing is, you could go through in that data and calculate the mean, the standard deviation, and the sample size yourself. But the stats calculator will allow you to just input that data. Let me just put some random values into a data set. Perfect. And it will do the mean, the standard deviation, and the sample size for you. There's no need for you to do that separately. So when you go back into T confidence interval, you have the data referenced in L1. It will find these values for you. The only other thing it needs to know is the level of confidence. So let's say it's 95% for this example. When I hit calculate, it comes up with the endpoints of the interval because it went ahead and found the mean of that data that I provided, the standard deviation, and the sample size. It went ahead and got those for me, created the confidence interval based off of that, and provided the output. And that's all you need to know.